All right, y'all. So, literally talking about confidence, I was actually setting up my microphone and my camera and all. And Mariah, a lovely girl, by the way, she ended up asking if she was in frame, and I was like, "No, you're good." So I was like, "Hey, let me just ask you a quick question." So, what do you think is something people can improve or work on to get more confident, or I guess to feel more confident as a human?
I would say for most of the time when you go into the gym, you notice that a lot of people really aren't paying attention to you and you're not paying attention to them. So I would go in with that mindset that at the end of the day, everyone's focused on themselves and that should give you more confidence to just, go ahead and go to the gym, get that workout in because like I said, you're not paying attention to anybody else, they're most likely not paying attention to you as well.
Hey, no cap. I was actually gonna mention that because I noticed a lot of people are like super self-aware. I mean, I used to be self-aware when I was like way back in middle school. And something I say is, it's really not that deep. At the end of the day, everyone's gonna forget. So I mean, I'm probably not gonna forget you, right? But like, as in like a negative experience. Like I was telling them how in eighth grade I was playing football and I ended up sleeping on the ball, and they called me book crack for a whole year just because my book crack showed. So like I tell people, it's really not that deep. At the end of the day, I mean, I'm probably gonna get a nickname from this part to said, but at the end of the day, I think it's just a matter of overcoming your fears. And how Mariah said, it's really not everyone is out to get you. So once you get out of that mindset, that's kind of really what it is, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah. So thank you, Mariah.
No problem.
Yeah. YouTube, what's going on? So like I was saying earlier, I had attempted to film it, but the microphone wasn't connected, so I just ended up pulling up an alley. I'm familiar with the area, so I mean I live in around the area pretty much. So, anyways, man, I'm gonna be kind of as straight up and quick time wise, since I don't want to make it more than a 10-minute video. Right now it's like at 3, 4, 5 minutes give or take, so I'm gonna try to summarize everything up in 1 through 7 minute time frame, so it's not super long. Cause it's a podcast style video, but it's just me by myself, so I feel like it'd be kind of weird, you know what I mean? So that being said, let's get right to it. So confidence is something that takes time and trial after trial and error, pretty much. So that being said, you can't expect to just be confident overnight. You know what I mean? I think in order for someone to be confident, truly confident, instead of just like oh, I'm gonna play it cool kind of confident, you have to be familiar with having pressure, so don't fold under pressure, and being quick and witted, being a quick and witty person. Because if you're just witty, you may take your time, like, oh, let me see, I need to say this in case she ends up coming out with this, or I need to say this so he doesn't say this. You know what I mean? Be quick with it. You know, you got fast. You don't got time to think about it type shit. Now, something I could talk from previous experience would be like myself at least, right? Whenever I was lacking in the confidence department, I would often rely on just playing it cool. But that only got me so far. And I think I had to just risk after risk after risk until eventually it worked out. So, with that being said, you can play it cool as much as you want and it'll work for the most part. But when it comes to actually connecting with someone or building a genuine connection, or, getting out of your comfort zone, really, you're kind of you're kind of done, you know what I mean? Fucking mosquitoes. I'm gonna be quick on that note too. So yeah, man. One of the best tips I can give you for someone that wants to be confident, first and foremost, is let's start with the quick things. Your hygiene. Do you shower? As a man, as a guy, myself at least, I can't speak for guys. I can speak for myself. Though. One time, only one time that I did not shower going to school. I had showered the night before though, but I used I made it a ritual to shower every single day before I went to school. Ever since that scenario, I went to school one day and I was like, oh, it's kind of funky. So I ended up the whole day, I was literally shitting myself. And I used to use one of these Bod man spray colognes. Hey, no cap, for like $1, bro. They were a bang for the buck. I'm not even gonna shit on them. That was my first ever like school cologne, apart from like Apollo or like Axe spray. argue whatever you want to say. The best axe is Dark Temptation. I said what I said. Dark Temptation is the best Axe men's body spray. That doesn't smell Axe like. Now, hygiene is the first step you can do to boost your confidence. You can also get a haircut, which also falls under hygiene technically. The second thing you can do to boost your confidence is get in shape or build some kind of discipline. People that say bodybuilders, influencers, or fitness influencers, etc., that are show-offs don't know what it means like to put in discipline. I can speak for myself. Sometimes I lack. I'll do the workout. Don't get me wrong, but I lack in the eating discipline part. Like for sure. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. Yeah, and y'all can see it. I'll work out hard and I'll do whatever, etc. But I can't say no to some good food, man. You know what I mean? Eaters eat. Just saying. That being said, build discipline, have good hygiene. The third one would be have some kind of self-improvement. For example, read some self-improvement books, even go on walks, listen to podcasts like this one. You know what I mean? Listen to these kind of podcasts and read some self-improvement books. For example, there's I forgot the name of it. I was talking to this girl. She never even told me her name. She's like Carmen San Diego, I swear. She was like, I'll tell you in person. Whatever. But yeah, read some self-improvement books or like those kind of style books. For example, I know two that I've read. The first one is the 48 Laws of Power, but I feel like it's really outdated. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Like the 48 Laws of Power it's so outdated. Some of it still holds true in the big 2026, but most of it is kind of like yeah, bro, I can squeeze in a wooden horse into Rome or whatever they took it in, but they already did it once. You know what I mean? Some of it still holds true. Others, not really. Another one is the Joe Navarro, What Everybody Says. Like everybody, not everybody, you know what I mean? What Everybody Says pretty much focuses on your body language, your body posture, what do you feel like. For example, right now, I don't know if y'all can see the angle, my legs are crossed up, I'm relaxed, I'm chilling, If I was tense, I'd probably be like, like just like fidgeting or like kind of wiggling back and forth, pacing myself. And it also comes into knowing some character traits of the person you're trying to get at, you know what I mean? And I don't necessarily mean get at like in a relationship type of way, more so in like a break them down and analyzing the person type shit. So for example, off of first glance, if I'm hunched like this or like for example, put it this way, I'm trying to talk to a girl, she's right here, and I come up like this, like, oh hey, my name is Alejandro, nice to meet you, what's your name? You see what I mean? Like I can tell I felt awkward just doing that. Whereas if I'm going like, hey, what's up? I know I really like your shirt, and do you happen to read so and so? Have you read this book or etc.? We should like go to some Bible study books. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you kind of just see off of the way the conversation feels and how you feel as a person. Like I felt the secondhand embarrassment from the first explanation I did. You know what I mean? So it's just a matter of feeling secure and knowing no matter what you do, no matter how the conversation goes, you're not going to lose anything valuable, at least. Your reputation, maybe, but everyone's going to forget, you know what I mean? As long as you don't do no Diddy type of shit, as long as you're not Sean P. Combs, this is a disciple or whatever, I think you'll be good for the most part. What else? Those are kind of like the basic gists. Learning body language, psychological. If you get some kind of psychology books, how the human mind works, etc. For example, like Don't Believe Everything You Think is also a third book I would really recommend. That one kind of goes into more of the mental aspect of your psychological part. For example, it says somewhere in the book, we think and think and think so much. we could probably think 1,000 negative things before we think of one positive outcome, or 1,000 negative outcomes before we think of one positive outcome. Meaning, as human beings, we're not wired to think negatively, but we can't help but think. You know what I mean? Oftentimes, that being said, let's say, for example, I'm going up to a girl, or, I'm trying to meet someone that I could possibly have some kind of, for example, like an artist I'm trying to bring on my, no, that's wrong, pause. Like an artist I'm trying to bring onto my YouTube videos, I'd be like, hey, well, who's booming? Like, hey, Drake, like whatever. I'll try to have him on my YouTube channel. I'll be like, hey, man, nice to meet you. I like your music. My favorite album is so and so. Try to connect with the person, or be like, hey, man, I'm not from Canada, but I know what it's like. You know what I mean? Try to build a genuine connection with someone. The person you're trying to get with, whatever you're trying to get from the person, try to make the conversation genuine and not just, hey, I'm using you, if that makes sense. So, like with Mariah, I was like, hey, maybe you could give me a good example of what being confident in. And sure enough, she did kind of look a little shy, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I could be wrong, but she did look a little shy, kind of just like waiting for me. And I was like, yeah, go ahead. Ooh, that's why I got out of the frame, and that's why I had gone kind of out of the frame and let her do her thing so she could say it. Like, she could be center stage, you know what I mean? But yeah, man, all in all, I think that's kind of really it. I don't think there's anything else to add. Apart from, like, the main tips I said, for example. Like, yeah, like, pretty much summarizing everything up. You have to be genuine at the end of the day. You can't fake confidence. Confidence doesn't happen overnight. It's not like, it has to be like Rome. If you want something to last, you have to build it. Good things take time, so why would confidence be different? Just like in a relationship. Boom. You know what I mean? Case closed, mic drop. But you get the point, man. In order for you to have bulletproof confidence, you're gonna have to feel embarrassed, awkward. You have to get rejected a couple times for you to finally be like, all right, cool, man. So this is what it takes, or how did I mess up? Don't overthink it. More so, just analyze. Hey, could I have done something different? And if so, what? Rather than look at the negatives and be like, okay, I may have done this, or I did this, which made this person react this kind of way. Maybe next time I won't be as bold, and I'll try to be more reserved and kind of see how they go off of my like, jokes and all. You know what I mean? So all in all, man, I really hope you kind of enjoy this little podcast style video. I low key like this kind of scenery. It's pretty nice. I'm not gonna lie. So this might be a potential recording site. I'm not even gonna lie to you, for podcasts and shit. I mean, look at this, man. It's like a long tunnel. Oh, I know another good spot that I can go to. I know a good spot, and that right there is nothing but straight scenery. Hell yeah, I know another spot. So this is a good spot. But yeah, man, podcast wise, I would try to bring you guys different kind of content every other 3 days, give or take. The scenery might change depending on where I'm at or who I'm with, etc. But all in all, I kind of hope you guys enjoy this little confidence tips and tricks that I've done with my life. And like I said, man, the easiest one you could do is just get your hygiene up. That's the quickest one. Realistically speaking, that's the quickest way to get your confidence a bit back up. Men's cologne isn't expensive. Nowadays, we have Arab clones or duplicates of the real deal. For example, there's 9 p.m. by Afnan. I'll put the photos up here. If I'm not mistaken, it's a dupe of JPG, Jean-Paul Gaultier Lamau. So this is the real deal, and 9 p.m. These are same scent, but at like a fraction of the price. JPG costs, my cousin actually gave it to me, but JPG shouldn't cost more than like $30 max. There's colognes like that, and then there's obviously perfumes for women. Women's perfumes, really, you can go to Burlington. If you're a woman watching this, go to Burlington, and I guarantee you will find Burlington, Adidas, Marshalls may have some, but they're usually like they're in the $50 to $70 range, and they're usually like designer ones, just drop down in price. I would really recommend going to Marshalls, to be fair. It's a Mustang. But anyways, yeah, man. Women's perfume isn't as expensive. What else? Yeah, I mean, just shower regularly. I guess guys shave or trim your beard, your pubes, facial pubes. Whatever it is, shave, man. Wear deodorant, bro. Like, wear deodorant. Shower after you put on your deodorant. Shower and make sure it ain't that 72-hour deodorant, because bro, that shit is not gonna last 72 hours. Max, it'll last probably like 8 hours, honestly. For me, I like using, and this goes for gender. This is a gender neutral cologne deodorant. I would recommend anything without aluminum. Anything that does not have aluminum. For example, it's not Naked. It's I went mind blank. I'll put the photos up here of what the deodorants I use. The brand is called. But yeah, man. That being said, I hope you guys enjoy this video. Shower. I guess get your hygiene up, not your funny up. Actually, having a good sense of humor is low-key another way to build your confidence up. Like for me, I'd like to believe I'm kind of comical. Certain times I'll be like, yeah, I shouldn't have said that, to be fair. And I'll be like, hey, that was. It sounded better in my head. then they'll be like, yeah, don't say it again. I'll be like, all right. Learn to read the room. Do not make mistakes I've made, which is just blurting stuff and then I'm being like, that wasn't that funny, realistically speaking. So learn to read the room. Get your funny up. For guys, at least. Girls love jokes. Sometimes they'll even take you as a joke, but hey, whatever toots your horn, you know what I mean? I think people can tell whenever you're trying too hard to be funny, so I would recommend you don't try too hard, you know what I mean? The less you try, the more natural it'll be and the funnier it is. My sister always tells me, bro, you're never this funny. And I'm like, yeah, because you're never paying attention. And then she's like, all right, man, you're doing too much. I'm like, how am I doing too much? I'm always being myself. I think being funny just kind of, you're gonna meet people that find your sense of humor insanely hilarious, and there's gonna be people that it'll grow on them. So I think you just kind of have to surround yourself with people that have similar likes or talk the way you talk or move the way you move. You know what I mean? It's all in the mindset. Another thing is, last and finally, is you can get your hygiene up, get some discipline in your life. Build the routine. It doesn't have to be like those influencer routines when it's like 4 a.m. wake up, pray for an hour, or be quiet or read for an hour in the morning. Fam, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't think I have. Look, I believe in God, right? But I don't feel like waking up 4 a.m. Let alone my work routine doesn't really allow me to. I wake up. You know what? This is off topic. Get some discipline in your life. Build a routine. Get your funny up and your money up, most importantly. And be at peace with yourself. Don't be afraid of the unexpected. If things don't go as you planned, all right, cool. Take the wheel. Improvise. It's better for you to improvise than to try to take control of stuff in life. As a human being, we can only control so many things. Yeah, but we can control is ourselves and the way we see life. I love y'all. Enjoy this video. Deuce.